Hey guys, Untitled Boy here, and today we're going to be doing another review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the M3 Diaphragm. Let's begin. Now, a little note here. There's also my video that I made, which was made in 2018. But yes, this mask, I just made a review of this. So this is just me revisiting this again. So let's get on with the history of it, and we'll get to the other stuff. These masks have been introduced in 1940s to basically accommodate the voice diaphragm. Now, the early version is the more black version, unlike the one that I have is the rather bluish variant. And also, there's actually multiple companies manufactured this mask, which one of them was General Tire and Rubber. Well, the one I have was made by Goodyear, another tire company, which kind of pretty funny to look at it. And mine's was from, so here's the stamp for it. Now, it actually had been upgraded to lots of other variants, including the M3, which we'll get to that in his next video. So let's get on to basically the bag and the mask itself. Now let's get to the carrier itself. Now the carrier itself would have the US with the Chemical Corp logo, which I'm not sure, but if anyone knows, let me know, because that might be what it is, but correct me if I'm wrong. There's also the thing called Army Diaphragm Gas Mask. Of course, it's a pretty big guy. I can say it there. It's a pretty big guy. This whole thing is made of canvas with a couple buttons, actually. One on basically the back side. But as you can definitely know why it has two buttons on this side, well, that's actually for the hose for that. Or if you're not using it, you would be put it on there. Of course, this would be basically the shoulder strap, and of course the hip strap, alongside with the tire strap to it. It actually had have this connecting piece. This is at the time pretty useful at the time, but things like the clasp and things like the snap buttons, or something a lot like this, yeah, I think it's at the time pretty useful to use. I mean, this was back in World War II, so. And now let's get inside of the bag itself, and that is where you put, there's also inside, there's a strap and little tab piece in there. Get that in there. Yeah, inside there on the left, that's basically to put the filter in there. And this whole thing is meant to secure the filter, which that's kind of the thing that's part of the whole set. Now let's get to the mask itself. And now we get to, well, basically the mask itself. Now, the filter itself is pretty big. It's just like one of those, those Russian coffee can filters. And just like the coffee can filters, this one is not safe to use. Yes, but this is how you unfortunately the one I have has a really cut out there. But when you actually put it in there, it's supposed to be like this. And then the mask itself is a pretty long hose out there. Basically has pretty old tape wrapped around it. Well, I think, I don't know what material it is, but I know that it's not actual. It looks like bandages of all things. That's what it reminds me of. Now, it also has the little flapper piece. This is the first mask that I own has that. It can, yep, they're right there. That little flapper piece. And of course, there are stamps around there. There's 37B. Of course, the company logo who made the mask. And there is also the Z-5. Of course, this actually is a diaphragm mask. Pretty advanced at its time, that it's becoming, well, an actual normal thing about it. Now, when you actually take off the pieces up there, this is basically what it is. Yeah, pretty yellowish. It reminds me a lot of the SHMS mask, where it actually had that little piece in there. Which, that's kind of makes it interesting to see that. Oh, let me get that in there. Now, judging by the mask itself, this was supposed to be green, but nowadays you'll see this being grayish, or 1.5 must be brownish. Yeah, pretty brownish, but of course there's the head harness. Unfortunately, I'm not sure this was the head harness for this. So, but it is a 6-point head harness. Supported on a piece of metal on there with some canvas with the adjustments on the straps. Inside of the mask, yes, inside of the mask, now inside the mask, yes, this is definitely grayer, but inside it, it's, now this at the time, there's the voice diaphragm, and of course the exhale valve. The exhale valve is that flapper piece in there. So this is what it's supposed to be on the mask itself. So when you inhale, it will go to there with the T-SOT system. And when you exhale, it will go in this area to the flapper piece. So that is what it would, also having these metal button, or basically buttons on there to basically hold there. Now, and there's the inside there. There is the little exhale valve in there. If you could see in there. But it's in there. I might get adjusted. Yep, there it is. But when you exhale, it'll go in there too. Basically with that flap piece in there. Now, let's go try on the mask itself. And now, this is where you put your coffee can in there. The filter. Now, you see these straps in there? Yeah. You're supposed to put this coffee can in there. Get the little buttons on there. Okay, there's the buttons on there. Oh, maybe it was supposed to be this way. Maybe flip it that way. Maybe this could work. But I know that it's supposed to basically be like the whole filter is supposed to be attached just like this. And make sure you push this in there. And here you go. Yep, that's what it's supposed to be like. And the mask itself, and now it's actually supposed to attach it like this, and when you put the mask in there, this is where it's supposed to be like. Yep, that's what it's supposed to be like. And also, there's a, forgot to mention, there's a stamp in there. Sorry if I'm pretty terrible at that. Oh, there it is. And it's a little faded out there. And this is what it's supposed to be like if you're not using it. But what's so interesting to think about it, when you take off want to use the mask out there, this is what it's supposed to be like. Oh, nope. Yeah, it's supposed to attach it like that, but there it is. Well, that's what it's supposed to be like. So let's try on the mask. So this is what it sounds like when you're wearing it. Yeah. Also, a little note that I've did in my testing on the video, I did not put it on the filter. In fact, it was just way over there. So that's just a little confusion from that whole thing. Okay, I think this is actually one of the more unique masks. Now, there is some cons to it. Now, the pro at the time is the voice diaphragm, which those are one of those pieces that became much more common. But at the time, these are like probably unique at a time. But the cons is the lacking of the drinking straw, which, like every World War II masks. And of course, the hose can get snagged out there. Unlike nowadays, unlike nowadays, this guy out. Yeah, unlike nowadays, there's basically the requirements of a drinking straw, the voice diaphragm attachment, and even the threaded filter, or even in fact like the M50, where it actually has its own filter. But it actually has its own filter. Let me pull this guy up. Unlike the M50. So yeah, we're gonna get to those guys. So I think it's great as a collectible item. And I think my verdict on the rating is, well, going to be a 7 out of 10. Yep, that's... Now tune in next time. We're going to get to, if you heard right, the M3. So, stay tuned. I'm Boy, and I'm signing out.